Hello everyone and welcome to this episode of Ignition Time. This is going to be an unusual episode of Ignition Time, but I do think it's an important subject because on this channel, we don't shy away from controversial subjects. We don't shy away from racially insensitive subjects. And in this episode of Ignition Time, I'm going to explore a journalist who has been a journalist for more than 2 decades, Michelle Lee. Now keep in mind, she has had her fair share of negative comments. She's an award-winning Asian American news anchor, but she listened to a voicemail on New Year's Day and she said she was, I quote, disheartened. And she said the words were more than rude, they were hateful and they were racist. In fact, the caller criticized her for, I quote, being very Asian and says she should keep her Korean to herself. But after that incident, something amazing happened. First, let's explore the comments that actually set off this entire episode and the remarks by the individual who left a voicemail for Lee. And by the way, I'll show you a video of Lee playing the voicemail. The viewer made those remarks after a segment about traditional New Year's Day dinners in which Lee, who's Korean, commented. She said this, I quote, I ate dumpling soup. That's what a lot of Korean people do. Now, the viewer was not at all happy about this. And the viewer said, I quote, I kind of take offense to that because what if one of your white anchors said, well, white people eat this on New Year's Day. I don't think it was very appropriate that she said that, and she was being very Asian. She also said she can keep her Korean to herself, and she said, all right, sorry, it was annoying. Now what Lee did was she posted this video on social media showing her listening to the voicemail, and the internet went crazy. A lot of social media users, journalists, authors, politicians, and activists have been sharing a lot of encouragement for Lee, and they've been using the hashtag very Asian. So let's take a look at the hashtag very Asian, and some actually even posted photos of their holiday dumplings. This hashtag very Asian has erupted in the new year as a direct result of this entire incident. In fact, one Twitter user actually thanked Lee for highlighting Asians' New Year's traditions, writing, we need to include more discussions that include diverse traditions because youth do see you. Another Twitter user said, if they are mad that we eat dumpling soup on New Year's, wait until they hear that we celebrate 2 New Years. That's a good one. Another wrote, let us all be hashtag very Asian every day in 2022. In fact, fellow journalist and author Xiao Ching Chu wrote on Twitter that 2 decades ago, a reader sent her a newspaper publisher a letter criticizing my article on tea, calling me a fortune cookie and saying they should have hired an American. She added, Michelle, do say something. Dumpling Pose has got your back. Hashtag very Asian. In fact, the Boston mayor, Michelle Wu, retweeted Lee's post writing, we had dumplings for New Year's too. Proud to be hashtag very Asian. So, KSDK, the NBC affiliate in St. Louis, said in a statement that, I quote, we embrace diversity in the people we hire, the stories we tell, and our local community. We will continue supporting Michelle and celebrating diversity and inclusion. Lee said this to the Washington Post. I think what happened to me was ugly. And by the way, I'm going to show you Michelle listening to the voicemail in just a second. I think what happened to me was ugly. But more importantly, we have to remember black and brown Americans get assaulted or worse just for existing. I can take the heat of an anonymous phone call if it exposes racism and hate. But I now see that call as a gift because I've seen the good in people in a way that I've never seen before. It inspires me to be better and to learn more as well. So folks, what is the fuss all about? Let's take a look at news anchor Michelle Lee of the St. Louis station KSDK sharing a voicemail on the 1st of January from a viewer who said she was, I quote, being very Asian on air. Let's roll the tape and hear what this viewer had to say. Let's watch.
Hi, this evening your Asian anchor mentioned something about being Asian and Asian people eat dumplings on New Year's Day, and kind of take offense to that, because what if one of your white anchors said, well, white people eat this on New Year's Day? I don't think it was appropriate that she said that, and she was being very Asian, and I don't know. She can keep her Korean to herself. All right, sorry, it was annoying. Because if a white person would say that, they would get fired. So say something about what white people eat. So, all right, thank you.
Now, folks, the good news is Michelle did say something amazing happened. She said this, I quote, "People began sharing their own New Year's Day traditions, from eating noodles to eating little smokies. People really came out in a big, anti-racist, loving way. It just made me proud to be both Asian and American." Wow, that is great. And folks, I can tell you, I was actually born and raised in India. I have the fortune, the honor, the privilege of living in the United States of America. I am proud of being an Indian American. So this entire episode, folks, is something that is not unusual, yet at the same time reminds us that we still have a long, long way to go. Finally, Lee made it clear that she does not, I quote, "begrudge someone for having an opinion, albeit one I think is racist, bigoted and wrong. We're all just one people trying to exist," she wrote. If I had the chance to actually speak to this woman, I would love to have a heartfelt conversation with her. Maybe we could do it over a bowl of dumplings. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Please click like, please subscribe, please enable notifications. I understand that this was an out-of-the-box episode of Ignition Time, but I felt it was important because on this channel we cover matters that are important to the country, and this is an important matter to our country. I think as a country we can move forward when we tackle difficult issues. Let me know what you think of this. What was your New Year tradition? In fact, let me know about your New Year tradition in the comment section below. It doesn't matter what nationality you are, because I have viewers from all over the world. It doesn't matter what race you are, whether you live in America or not. I want to know what your New Year tradition was. And I think that this tells us we still have a long, long way to go, because I believe that voicemail, while seeming somewhat apologetic, I believe it was racist, it was bigoted. Just because the lady was polite doesn't mean she should be able to get away with this. And by the way, I think, and I can see both sides of the story here, but I think if we really pay attention to that voicemail, you can see that it was clearly a racist voicemail. Thank you so much. Please click like, please click subscribe, please enable notifications. I appreciate you. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. Take care. Bye.